Good afternoon. Today is Monday, May 5th. This is Christine at Christine's Craft Table. Thought I'd give you an update of what I've been up to this week on all my whips. I did a whip review recently, so I kind of want to keep the accountability going and show you my progress on some of them. But first off, two unrelated crochet things. I mentioned I was going to be doing some more reading, and I just wanted to let you know I finished my next book. I already published my first book review, and that's on my channel. And this is the book I just finished. It's called Mishandled, and I will be posting a separate video to give you my thoughts on this little book. And I have been wanting to get a new glue gun because mine is just this little cheap one I bought for $3 or $4, and it doesn't work very well. I'm having to push the little glue stick with all my might to get it to feed through the gun. And so anyway, I saw this gun at Michael's. It was $19.99 at Michael's, and I thought, okay, I guess that's what they cost. This is the mini size. There's a bigger size. It's about $24.99 or $25.99, something like that. And so I thought, well, I'll go online and use my coupon because Michael's had a coupon for 20% off online purchases. So you have to go place your order online and place it for pickup, and then you can get the discount. It wasn't good for in the store, so I thought, hey, 20% is 20%, right? So I think it was going to be about $16.99 with the discount. Well, then I went over to Meijer. I didn't buy it at Michael's. I thought I was going to place an online order. And I was walking by glue guns at Michael's, and I thought, oh, I'll just check and see what the price is here, because they had the exact same gun. At least it looked like the exact same gun. I didn't compare UPCs or anything, but it's called the Gorilla Glue Gun, and it's the mini size. So I checked Meijer, $9.99 at Meijer. So I just had to give a shout out to Meijer because it wasn't even on sale. That was just the regular price, $10 cheaper than Michael's. So this is not the first time that I have just seen that you really have to be careful with Michael's, because some things are priced through the roof. You know, maybe not yarn, because yarn is, they can't go too crazy with the yarn because there's so many other places to buy it. But I would just proceed with caution when you see something at Michael's. You might want to do a price comparison before buying. So I got this for $9.99 at Meijer, M-E-I-J-E-R. I know all of you don't have a Meijer. I think it's mainly in the South. I never saw one on the West Coast. But anyhow, I just wanted to mention that because $10 cheaper. That's pretty ridiculous. Okay, one other thing I picked up at Michael's. I did pick up a couple things that day. I don't remember if I got any yarn. I don't think so. But this really cute amigurumi book. It's called Sarah Abondio Mini Amigurumi Ocean, 26 Tiny Sea Creatures to Crochet. Tiny was a good word. And it's just got all these cute patterns. And so I'm really excited about that. And they're small, so they're going to be quick. I've been watching a lot of Llama Mama Kayla lately, and she makes some of the cutest little amigurumis for her. She sells them at a shop. So I'm getting into amigurumi somehow. I'm getting enthused about them. So I was happy to find this little book, and this was only $9.99 or $12.95 at Michael's. So pick that up. Okay, now my whips. I will start with the biggie. This is probably what I have worked on mostly this week. It is my Judy's Creations and Crochet, her 2024 bird mal. I made a square each, trying to find each month, and so I have 12 squares that I've been joining. So I finished the joining. They are joined with black. They already each had a black border, so I just joined with black. And I used the ladder stitch, so it's pretty invisible. I like it because the bump on the back is not that noticeable even. There's the back. I guess it's hard to see because it's black, but yeah, I'm happy with that. I didn't bother blocking. Actually, I was going to, and then I forgot because some of them just lay so flat already. But I didn't block any of the squares before I joined them, so I don't know. I don't think I will. It's a blanket, and you know it's gonna get washed, and so now I have a decision as to what to do with the border. I'm currently working on one row of single crochet in black, and then I'm thinking I'm gonna do 2 more rows of double crochet and then a final row of another stitch that I just found, which looks really cool. And so I'm excited to start that. But my question is, do I introduce another color in the black? Someone suggested burnt orange, and I have like a pumpkin color orange that I was considering because it kind of gave me the vibe of a frame, like a picture frame. So what I'm probably gonna do is post another poll on my channel. So if you have a chance and would be willing and see that poll pop up, or take a look for it maybe in a day or two, and give me a vote on what you think, because it's probably going to be either that pumpkin color or aqua if I decide to put a color in between the rows of black to kind of give it a finishing frame type look. I was going to do the aqua because it would kind of bring the colors or bring the squares together because they're so different, and I did include aqua in several of them. So that's probably the safe color, but that burnt orange kind of has me intrigued. So I'm gonna put up a poll. Please place a vote if you have a chance, if you have the time, and I'll appreciate it very much. That poll I posted last week for the yellow and green squares was really helpful because it actually just confirmed what I was already thinking of doing. So I was really glad to get the results on that because people agreed with me. And that, I already showed it in my I did a recent video from my Hobby Lobby haul. It was a small haul, but I mentioned this already, but hot pink was the winner on that poll. So I'm going to use hot pink for the border on my yellow and green squares. Haven't made any progress on this one other than buying the yarn. So I am happy about that. That will be upcoming. And since I'm talking about hot pink, one thing I also mentioned on my Hobby Lobby video, but I will just mention because I did finish it this week, was this cute little scrubby. And this is a pattern by Llama Mama Kayla. It's a loom knit scrubby, and you just use the 24 peg loom. I got this in my set that I bought at Michael's a couple years ago. Came with like 4 round looms in different sizes, so this is the smallest. And it's really easy, and it's a great way to bake a scrubby because I think it's easier on your fingers using the loom than crocheting every single stitch. And the pattern's easy, and it was quick. I made this in a day. I mean, it didn't even take me all day. I think I did other crocheting that day as well. But it's so pretty and spongy, and can't wait to start using it. So, and that was with the Scrubology Yarn Bee, which I think is my favorite Scrubby yarn. You know what it's really good for too is removing labels from jars. If you're into reusing jars, like pickle jars or salsa jars, I like to remove the labels, but sometimes that glue is hard to get off. This Scrubby works amazing after you soak the label for a while. Anyway, I love that Scrubby yarn. Last thing I finished, this was a finished, and you might have seen this on Kathy's video. This is my Chunky Benjamina. Last week she had no arms and only one leg, so she is done. Isn't she a cutie? She is so huggable. It's so funny that she's called Chunky. The pattern is called Chunky Benji. I called her Benjamina because she's obviously a girl. As I say, oh, she's called Chunky, but she's probably the least chunky bear I've ever stuffed. The whole idea with her is that you really stuff her sparsely. She's got a lot of extra room in there so that she can sit comfortably. This bear has no trouble sitting. And yeah, I noticed she didn't have a tail either, but she's kind of cute with that big chunky rear end. So I left her plain. And yeah, she's made with a Karen latte cake. This is in the color marooned. Here's all I have left. I used about half of the cake, so I could easily make another one, which I might, because I don't know what I'm going to do with 200 or so yards of latte cake. But I received this in a mystery box from Crystal I think it was last year, Crystal at Bago Day. She has the greatest mystery boxes, by the way. If you ever encounter one on her Etsy shop, it's a great deal. Mine have usually been about 50%. Like I pay 50% less than what the yarn would cost, and that includes shipping. So anyway, Chunky Benjamina was with the latte cake, and then for the nose and eyes, I just used Crafter's Secret black cotton, 100% cotton. You know, I found I really like using the 100% cotton, especially this one that it's not very soft. It's not as bad as sugar and cream, but it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't get all fuzzy, because sometimes when you're working on these eyes and then maybe you need to redo them or something, they start getting a little fuzzy, but the cotton does not. And I figured this latte cake has so much fuzz on it already that I didn't want any black fuzz coming off of the nose and eyes, and it's not. It's very clean. Now, granted, she hasn't been washed, but I just don't see that getting it all fuzzy. So, good deal. And I'm real happy with her. And she's an easy pattern. It's by Moran or she goes by Mo, on the YouTube channel Crochet Object Knitting. I'll put a link in the description box if you're interested. It's a paid-for pattern. She has it on Ravelry, and I think on Etsy too. Yeah, I think I bought it on Etsy. Just $5 or so. Excuse me. And it was easy. I would say this is a beginner-friendly pattern. It's just single crochet. She does something really unique on the legs and the arms that I had never done before. And that is that she has you make a hole as you're going along in crocheting the body. You leave a hole for the legs and a hole for each arm. So you don't have to hassle with lining up arms and legs and getting them sewed on and, worrying about your stitches showing. None of that with this pattern. You just come back after you finish the body, and incidentally, the body is one whole piece. The head is part of the body too. Another plus, you don't have a head to sew on. But you come back later and you start crocheting along those holes that you left, and you bring kind of like doing an arm on a sweater. And then you build the leg. And I thought, oh, it's going to be weird stuffing that, but not really. And you also leave lots of space without stuffing on the arms and legs so that they are very movable and they lie flat. And she sits easily, like I said. And then when you're almost done with the leg, you stuff it and close it up. So I love that whole method. I just think that's great. No lining up. I always have trouble lining up my arms and legs, and invariably something gets crooked between the head and the arms and the legs. Something goes off for me, no matter how much I look at it. So that was great. You do have to sew on the nose, but it was pretty easy because all you really need to do is center it with the top of the head. And you do sew on the ears. The ears were separate. I think those might be kind of hard to do with that whole method because you want to fold the ear a little bit as you're sewing it on. But yeah, I thought she was really easy. I've made several teddy bears, and this is probably the easiest pattern I've ever made on a teddy bear. So one thing I didn't like is, and this is just me, I didn't close that up very neatly, and so she has a bit of a bump on the top of her head, like a little wart. But it's not crazy, it bugs me. So I don't know how to fix that at this point. I guess I could unsew her, but I may find a little bow or something to put on the top of her head. Yeah, I think a bow would go good. Okay, enough about Chunky Benjamina. I love her. Yeah. As much as I love her, I might be putting her for sale on my Etsy shop. My Etsy shop has been closed for a couple months, FYI, just because for over a month, I couldn't walk, let alone drive. So I just didn't want the pressure of having to do shipments or anything if I sold something. I don't sell very much on my Etsy shop, but I will be reopening it this month, and she's probably going to go on there. Hopefully make some kid really happy. I think she'd be good for a little kid too, because she's just so huggable. She would be easy to carry around. That is my update for this week. Oh, I did want to mention that I entered her in 2 crochet alongs. I double dipped this month in Judy's butterfly mal for May. It is this gorgeous pink butterfly, and if you haven't checked out Judy's monthly mal, you should. It's Judy's Creations in Crochet, and I will leave a link in the description box. But it's fun, and you can do whatever you want. You can do something difficult or something really easy. Some people do a dishcloth or a scrubby. All you need to do is use the colors that are in the picture that she gives us as our inspiration. And this month with that, it was a multicolored pink, hot pink butterfly. And so Benjamina qualified. And so I sent in her picture to Judy. And the other mal that I participated in with her was Kathy W's. Kathy W. Yarn with Heart has a monthly mal as well. And hers is called Something New. And I will put a link also for her mal. And what you need to do is send in a picture each month of something new, either using a new technique, but it could also be a new pattern or a new yarn, I'm pretty sure. And for me, definitely that leg creation was a new technique, which I love. And then she gives you the colors, and she gives you lots of options with the colors. I think this month, this was for April, was a variegated color from your stash. So she qualified. So anyway, I got to participate in those 2 MALs, which I loved being able to do, and support those 2 channels, which are 2 of my favorite channels, by the way. Okay, I'm done. Thanks for watching, and I will see you hopefully next week with some progress on my whips.